In a quiet village surrounded by thick forests and tall mountains, there lived a blind man named Aren. He was a poor man often seen wearing tattered clothes that hugged loosely on his thin frame. His shirt was faded and patched, and his whole trousers were flamed at the edges. Despite his humble appearance, Aren had a spirit that some shone brightly. True, many villagers overlooked it, then often whispered behind his back, calling him the blind beggar and dismissing him as someone unworthy of their attention. Every evening, as the sun dipped down the horizon, painting the sky with shades of orange and purple, Ariel would sit under the weather wooden bench in the village square. With his warm fingers, he played the flute to his lips, and music flowed out. The sweet haunting melodies filled the air, bringing comfort to those who passed to listen. Even if they rarely acknowledged him, they still listened. But for many nights, a dark shadow had loomed over the village. A malevolent spirit emerged from the depths of the forest, causing havoc and destruction. It would sweep through the village, knocking over carts, frightening livestock, and spreading fear amongst the villagers. Every night the spirit would howl and screech, fading off the villagers in fear and distrust. They would embark on their houses, close their doors, and whisper the tales of the dark figure that haunted their night, growing more anxious with ease every passing day. On one fateful evening, as Irene played his unusual tune, a cold wind swept through the village. The trees whispered secrets and the animals grew silent. The village felt a shiver down their spine, sensing that something was not right. They looked around, their hearts pounding with unease. Suddenly, the dark spirit appeared at the edge of the forest. It twisted from humiliated by the pale moonlight. It was tall and menacing, with glowing eyes that seemed to pierce through the darkness. The villagers felt a wave of fear rush down their spine. They hurried to their homes, locking the doors and closing the windows, hoping to find and hide for shelter and safety, unknowing to the threat. But Irene, sitting alone in the square, left in the spirit presence, he could hear the whispers of the villagers as he rushed inside, but also sensed something deeper, a call to action. He picked up his flute, his smooth surface familiar against his fingerprints, and took a deep breath. He knew he had to do something. As he began to play, the note of the flute filled the air, and soft and haunting. The sound wrapped around him like a warm blanket, pushing back the fear that threatened to take hold. With each note, he poured his heart into the melody, letting the emotions flow through the instrument. The sound danced through the village, reaching the ears of the frightened villagers. Outside, the spirit paused, drawn to the music. It swinged in the air, its dark and finessing like a candle in the wind. Irene felt the spirit's energy, cold and powerful, but he did not stop playing. Instead, he played louder, his fingers moving swiftly over the flute. The melody changed, becoming stronger and more defiant. The villagers, peeking through their windows, felt a spark of courage ignite in them. They listened to Ariel's music, and slowly, one by one, they stepped outside. They gathered around him, forming a circle of light against the darkness. Together they listened, and their hearts beating in time of the rhythm of the flute. As Ariel played, he could feel the spirit growing restless. It twisted and turned, trying to escape the power of the music. The villagers joined in, clapping their hands and singing softly. Their voice blended with Ariel's flute. The sound grew louder, filling the night with hope and strength. The spirit, now furious, let out a shrilling howl and echoed through the trees. It lunged towards Ariel, but he stood firm, his eyes closed, lost in the music. He played with all his might, pouring over every note, filled with love. The villagers also felt the melody they've never felt like never before. It became a battle of melody and a battle of cry and love. Darkness against darkness, light against light. With one final powerful note Ariel played as his life depended on it, the sound ranged out like a bell, clear and strong. The spirit hesitated its dark from financing the sound of the music. The villagers felt a surge of energy, their fear replaced by determination. They raised their voices higher, singing along with Ariel. Their unity was like a shield of light. In that moment, the spirit could no longer withstand the power of their combined strength. With a final desperation, screamed. It dissolved into the night, leaving behind only a whisper of wind. The villagers were safe. At the first light of the dawn broke the horizon, the villagers cheered, their voice echoing through the valley. They surrounded Ariel, lifting him up in celebration. They thanked him for his bravery and for the music that has saved them all. From that day, Ariel was not just a blind man who played the flute, he was a hero. His music became a symbol of hope and courage for the villagers. Every evening, as the sun set, the villagers would gather around him, not just to listen, but to remind them of the night they stood together against the darkness. And Ariel, with his heart full of love for his home, played and played until the flute started singing the notes of joy and unity for them to hear.